Hello, welcome to the Golden Hawk Speaker Series. I'm Lucas, and we're here joined with Sergeant Cabrera from the United States Marine Corps.
My name is Vontasia Smith.
Mason Tallman.
I'm Harry Delgado.
Xavier Carrasco.
So, Sergeant, can you please explain to us what you do in the Marine Corps and how you got into it?
So like I said, Sergeant Cabrera. Right now, what my job is I'm a Marine Corps recruiter. So pretty much what my job is to go around young men and women, just pretty much talk to them about the opportunities the Marine Corps offers. Growing up when I didn't really I didn't know what the Marine Corps was or anything like that. So that's pretty much like our whole role in in schools and like community colleges and stuff. It's just have our information out there. Like a lot of young individuals don't really know the opportunities we provide. There's a lot of like hearsay and rumors, and especially from like old veterans and stuff like that. Like a lot of things has changed, and that's kind of what my job is just kind of clear the smoke on everything and just give you like the facts and all and the opportunities that we offer in the Marines.
When did you join?
I joined the Marine Corps in May 2017.
2017.
And how did that process go? Like, you were in high school, I presume.
So I was in I went to our Morgan, so it's a little bit down south, and so junior year I was like, I'm gonna go to college, and I wanted to get a degree in economics, and then I started talking to a friend of mine. He was not really a friend of mine, but I knew him, and he was going into the finance world, and he told me he already been in it for a couple of years, and he was just like, man, you need credentials. Like if you don't know somebody, it's you're gonna start off at the bottom for a long time until you know somebody and you really climb up the ladder and stuff like that. So that got me thinking I need to do something else that's gonna like separate me. So going into my senior year, so junior year I got like really good grades because I was really want to go to college like FIU, and so my senior year I got like a real bad case of like senioritis, and I was like I want to be done with high school so bad. So like my grades tanked senior year, and I was like, you know what, I'm going into the military, so this doesn't really matter. Like I'm gonna graduate and then do other things. So um, initially I wanted to join the Air Force, kind of like every student and everyone that I come across because Air Force is a lot like the reputation behind them is a lot like technical and like a lot of education, but so I was a resident at the time. I'm Cuban. I came here when I was 6, so I didn't have a full citizenship yet. And so I talked to the Air Force recruiter, and he was like, "Yeah, man, we can't really work with you until you have a citizenship." And it's not like that. You can't join the armed forces without it, but like they like very picky of who they want.
Oh, so the Air Force will not accept you if you're not a citizen?
Back at that time, they didn't for me.
Not changed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's changed, if they're still picky like that, but at that point, I waited a couple of months after high school to get my citizenship because I was getting it from my dad, and so it was like January, February 2017. I was like done. Like I knew my citizenship was coming, so I was going to go to the Air Force recruiter and tell him like, hey, like I'm about to get it. Can I just start the process? So I showed up at the armed forces recruiting like the office, and like every branch is there. So I go there, and of course he's not there. Um, and then somebody like a Marine comes out. He's actually a Marine that just came back from boot camp, and he was at the office. He came out, man. He's like, man, what are you doing? Like, dude's never there. You want to just come talk to us for a little bit? And I was like, the back of my mind, I came up playing sports. I was very competitive. Like I was in pretty good shape too. So I was looking at like the stereotype of the Marine Corps was like, these guys are like badass. They're like top notch. So I was like, yeah, man, I'll come in and have a conversation with you. And the funny thing is, like, I told my parents I was going down to just talk to the Air Force, and they literally was like, it's like, you know what, go, but just don't talk to the Marines. And it's funny, so I go in there and then I watch the video, they start talking to me. I'm like, this is exactly what I want, like, and then so whatever. I had my diploma in social in hand, like I was ready to go, I was done, and I go back home and I tell my parents like, hey, join the Marine Corps. They're like, we just told you anything but that. So
it was kind of like like when your parents say you to not do something, you kind of wanted to do it more. Like
pretty much. And I mean, I always had like a good image of the Marine Corps, but it was just like, how do I tell my parents I want to do that? But yeah,
Especially
man.
coming from a Hispanic.
Yes, yeah. I can tell you, like, my mom started crying. My dad was a little crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm doing this. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
like
18.
I already signed the paper.
I'm doing this. Like,
Did you have you already signed and
no,
everything?
no, no. I specifically told the recruiter, like, hey, man, I'm gonna think about it. There's a lot of info.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go with my parents, like, talk to them. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it, but I'm gonna give them the common courtesy of like explain to them like
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, like
And so yeah, I told him, and it was like a week later we set up like a one-on-one with the recruiter. So he kind of broke everything down. And at the end of the day, like they were happy for me. They were like, we didn't want you at first, but we know you really want this. And then from there on, we started the process, and I was in boot camp by May. So two months later, I was gone.
After boot camp, what did you want to get into? Because in Marine, I suppose it's like the Army where you have different types of jobs.
So yeah, so I went to, so you go to MEPS, that's where you process and stuff. I took the test. I scored pretty good on it, but since I wasn't a citizen, I wasn't open to a lot of jobs because you need a security clearance for other jobs, for the majority of jobs. So my job choices were limited. So I ended up doing just like transportation. It's kind of falls with logistics as well. It's like you drive big tactical vehicles for the Marine Corps and stuff like that. It's called motor transport.
so like the not like bigger than the Humvees or
Yeah, so it's Humvees are like the smallest variant we have. So we have Humvees, 7 tons, and LVSRs. They're like big logistical vehicles.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, like I want to be Marine on top of everything. Like whatever job I get, whatever job I get, because you could always change your job while you're in. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go to boot camp. And then 2 months later, I was in boot camp.
What does boot camp entail?
So recruit training, it's 3 months. It's like 13 weeks.
Is it the same for like because is it the same for the Navy?
No,
Army?
we Marine Corps recruit training is known for we have like the toughest recruit training. It's the longest, and we have like the most attrition compared to the other branches.
Why is it so tough?
It's just like the image that comes with the Marine Corps. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the few the proud. We're the smallest branch, so we're like the pickiest too. We have the highest standards. So that's kind of why it's like why I say it's like the most challenging one. It's just that they're very picky what they select, and they want to know. If you want to be Marine, you got to be fully committed to it. So that's why they challenge you very hard. And then recruit training is just at first it's just like a culture shock. Like you go in there and everybody's yelling, things going crazy, but what they're trying to do is that they're trying to see how committed you are. Because if you go in there like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, like you're just gonna quit. So you take everything that's coming, like you see they yell at you back, like it is what it is, chaos. It's a lot to. It tries to like imitate like combat, and so at combat you're gonna be yelling. So if something's happening, you can't just like whisper to do something. You have to yell like, "Hey, this is happening, blah blah blah, go over there."
Good. So you were talking about boot camp.
Yeah. So like I was saying, like first phase is just to basically like they just it's like to break you down so they can like build you back up. So they take away all their bad habits and stuff like that, and then progressively throughout boot camp, second phase is more like where you get like the actual training. You do like the rifle range, do the swim qualifications, you do like hikes. Pretty much start training you like how to be a Marine and stuff like that. And then third phase is like the culminating event of everything. So in third phase, you learn BWT, so basic warrior skills, stuff like that. You learn how to survive in the field and stuff like that. And all that is leading up to the Crucible. So the Crucibles are a culminating event in boot camp. I think it's like 54-hour event or something like that. It's like something like that. It's like 2.5 days where it's like you only get
straight.
Straight. You only get like 3 MREs. So you're hungry, you have barely any sleep, and it's just really like it just tests your mental resilience at all. Like you're gonna hear a lot of people say that boot camp is more mental than it is physical. So at the end of that, you do a hike back to the parade deck, and that's where you get your golden anchor from your drill instructor, and you become a Marine. And then from there, you do graduation, family day, everything, and then you go back home for 10 days.
So I see that you have a medal there that says rifle expert. If you can like explain that and like what those entails and the different qualifications.
So basic rifle qualification. So in boot camp, everybody qualifies with M16. So it's like 2 full weeks of like instruction, really, because you're gonna take civilians that have never shot a rifle. Like majority of civilians have never shot a rifle before. So there's like a lot of safety that goes into it. So there's a whole week, we call it grass week, where you have a instructor come in, and he's trained to do this, and he'll teach you pretty much everything about the M16, all the safety like surrounding it and stuff like that. And then like pretty much that whole week, they kind of take it easy on you, like in like the drill instructors, not crazy easy, but like a lot less than others because they know you're handling a rifle and you have live rounds. So that whole week, you're just getting into positions, getting comfortable with the rifle. The second week is actually firing week, and so when I did it, I think it's changed a little bit. But when I did it, it was first couple of days was just practice. So you shoot a bunch of rounds, kind of see where you're at. You get your hold and all that. So and there's still coaches behind you while you're shooting. So you start shooting stuff like that. You've seen where you're landed. You have a range book, so you mark everything down, and then from there, that's table one.
Infantryman. How would deployment go?
So the way deployments go right now, since we're in a peacetime right now, so there's no real active conflict going on in the world. Deployments now are just training events at other countries, training with other militaries, stuff like that. That's literally all what it is. The Marine Corps, we all should fall under the Department of the Navy. So
This way you guys are covered through NCRS.
What's that?
Investigative body is NCIS.
Yeah, NCIS. Yeah. We're under the Navy. So usually our deployments are you go on a ship for a couple of days, then you go port somewhere at some country. It just depends where you're at. If you're in North Carolina, you're usually gonna deploy to Europe. If you're in California, you usually deploy somewhere to Asia. That's really all deployments are. Nowadays, deployments are just like I said, like training with other militaries and traveling and stuff like that. There's not really an active conflict, but as Marines, you have to stay ready for anything. So we're the America's 911 force. So once you're forward deployed, like anything can happen at any time. You're the 911 force because you're currently deployed. So yeah, it's pretty much how deployments work. They're usually around 6 months. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to go on deployment. My units kind of had different missions that I've been in. So yeah, hopefully in the future I can.
Right. So right now you're a recruiter.
Yes.
Let's say it wasn't peace. Would you go into active or like, do you have to? So
you have to be deployed, right?
Yeah. Would you have to redeploy?
No. So as a recruiter, it's a non-deployable billet. So
gotcha.
As a recruiter, for the 3 years that you're on it, you can't deploy because you're doing this obviously. But as soon as 3 years are up and you go back to the fleet, that's what we call the fleet, like the operating force. That's when you're deployable and can pretty much go anywhere.
What year are you on?
I've been in for 6 years and 3 months.
Okay, and as a recruiter, how long?
I've been a recruiter since March, so 5 months, 6 months.
Okay, and you can switch out whenever you want?
What do you mean?
Like you can just go back to fleet, or do you have to finish?
No, you have to finish your tour. So it's 3 years. It's a 3-year duty.
Could you double, like stay as a recruiter?
Yes, you can. There's things called 8412. They're called career recruiters. So their job is to pretty much train new recruiters, run offices, things like that. Just pretty much keep the recruiting force alive. You know what I'm saying they're the main drivers of that. But yeah, you can definitely switch to being a career recruiter, and it's a job that's in very high demand because obviously the recruiting struggles right now going on.
So when you're in boot camp, is it the same for an infantryman as a non-infantryman, a logistics liaison or a
So yeah, in boot camp it's really you're all recruits. You're not infantryman. You're not anything. When it changes is when you go to the next phase of training, which is infantrymen go to ITB infantry school, and then non-infantry MOSs go to Marine combat training. So that's where it kind of splits off. And then after Marine combat training, you do your job school. Non-infantry.
Would you say that boot camp is how they say it, that it's way harder than it seems now that you went through it?
Yeah. So, I mean, now that you accomplish it, you're like, because for a lot of us, it's like the hardest thing we've ever done. Being away from family 3 months, being in that environment, you've never really been part of that. So, like I tell applicants all the time, it's more mental than physical. And people always ask me, "Oh, what does that mean?" It's just, it's like like the drill instructor is trying to break you. He's trying to
Make you quit.
Yeah, he's trying to make you quit, and he's trying to have the platoon like separate and like just be individual. And boot camp is all about teamwork and staying together. So yeah, like if you just keep that right mindset and you know you just keep pushing forward and you know the end goal, then that's when you can dominate at boot camp. You can have not have a good time, but you can know the end goal is there, and you can accomplish. Like I tell you, anybody can accomplish it. You just gotta put your mind to it.
Did you ever think of quitting?
I don't think I ever thought of quitting. I definitely sat in my bed and was like, what? Why did I do this? But no. At the end of the day, for me, it was like, you know, I have to go back home as a Marine. Like
You can't start it and quit.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I already told people I was gonna do it. Like if I get home, like I wouldn't be able to live myself.
So what's next for you? Like you're doing the recruiting now. What are you gonna? What are you planning on doing next?
So what's next for me is right now finish this tour, be a successful recruiter, and then you know the good thing about the Marine Corps, man, like there's so many opportunities open.
Yeah.
Like you can go to another MOS, you can commission as an officer, you can pretty much do anything, you can travel anywhere. So right now, like my future really isn't set. Right now, my focus is just getting done with this tour, and then from there on, I don't know, explore my options and really just take a step back and really see what I can do and what's going to be best for me.
Do you have anything in mind?
Right now I'm just focused on this duty. This duty's very hard, so it's hard to like put your mind up to other things.
Yeah.
But for right now, I'm just focused on this, and then hopefully in 2-3 years I kind of can start setting roots in what I want to do next. But for right now, since I just started, and this is what 100% my focus is on.
Have you thought of retirement?
Yeah, retirement is like 16 years. I mean, no, like 14 years from now. So,
14 years.
I tell, yeah, because you get retired at 20 years in the Marine Corps.
Oh.
So, but
Only 20 years? Because I thought you could retire before 20 years.
No.
You won't get the same benefits.
yeah, you won't get so it's 20-year retirement to get a pension.
Pension.
Much of the
So
pension?
dinero.
The pension it depends what retirement program you're in. So it could be either half of your base pay when you retire. So when you retire at 20 years, you're a high-ranking individual. You're gonna be making a lot more money.
Yeah.
And pretty much what your pension is it's pretty much they like split that, and then you get that monthly, and then aside from that, you get the
Okay.
yeah, like you go to the VA, and then depending on your how much injury you had and stuff like that.
Your disability.
Yeah, your
Like a
disability.
Yeah.
So usually people when they retire, they have a disability check and they have a pension.
So it's just, I guess that's a good way to wrap it up. Thanks for joining us from our new studio in front of a live audience in the aerospace room. So thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Any questions from the audience?
An audience.
Yes.
Can you rate your job 1 to 10?
10.
10. All right.
12.
12 if you
No, yeah, I'm happy with what I did.
All right.